Hello everybody, my name is Steven. This is the story of a guy with an adventurous spirit who is cheap, frugal, thrifty, likes a good value. I was doing a lot of traveling this particular summer, and rather than pay for hotels and motels and all that jazz, I built out a little bed in my 2004 Honda Civic. This is the story, the pictures, and the journey, and I hope this is helpful if you are considering doing this yourself. To start things off, you've got to get the manual for the car to figure out how to remove the back seat. I had purchased my 2004 Honda Civic manual for about $100, and this is how I took apart the back seat to remove it from the car. This is the existing back seat with all my stuff, my trunk, and that's the seat, the back seat having been removed. A couple of those shots. Then I went over to a big box store. I think this was Home Depot. And I got some, I think those are 2x6s. And I got a sheet of plywood, and I had them cut it up so it would fit into my car. And then I took it back to my girlfriend's house and put it together. I got some specialty hinges there because you're going to see a part of my bed frame is going to fold back so that I can put my seats back. And there's me in the parking lot, some of my hardware. So the first thing I did was I took out the existing piece of felt in the trunk, and I traced it with a pencil on this half sheet of plywood. And then I cut it out with a jigsaw. I'm sorry, I'm jumping around here a little bit. I also ended up replacing, they had a piece of cardboard that sat as like the trunk liner, and that thing had gotten soggy and was falling apart, so I replaced that with a piece of plywood that I traced, so my base was really firm. Then I put in the 2x6s. I got my jigsaw, and then I cut it out. Looks pretty good. Just some pictures of the action. Jigsaw worked really nice. Got it for like $20 or something. And then there is the new piece on top with the new piece on the bottom too. So it's really sturdy and firm. And you can see I've got those 2x6s on the side. So basically I have a pocket underneath where I would be sleeping. So I could like use it for storage and stuff. Spoiler alert, that ended up being a bad idea and didn't give me enough leg room to turn in the night. It made it very uncomfortable. Would not recommend doing it this way or giving yourself more room. Cut your pieces generously. Give yourself plenty of wiggle room. There it is, looking from the trunk back into the car. There's my 2x6s. I did not bolt those to the frame of the car. Those are just freestanding. I had a bunch of stuff in there that kept them from moving around too much. Those are the screws that I used. And I'm drilling in the 2x6s to that frame floor there so that 2x6s don't tip over, and it's nice and level. And that's the finished product. Keep in mind, underneath that level, those 2x6s are sitting on that piece of other wood that I cut out custom, so it's nice and sturdy. Then I made another piece, and this piece is going to fold down right there to give me more room for my upper body. Just like that. So it's really a pretty long space. Like I'm 6 feet and I can fit in there no problem. Once the build was finished, this is a picture of me testing it out. Yes, I still have those pants to this day. You can see that there's not a lot of room for my thighs for me to turn over and stuff. It was really cumbersome. Didn't realize that until, halfway through the trip when I was like, oh, this is a mistake. You didn't have to sleep at that diagonal. You could sleep straight out, up and down and still fit. You need to put the front seats forward though so that you could fit. And I ended up putting another board there where my head is so that you could go all the way up so that your head was on a piece of plywood too. This is the location of the first night that I camped out with my new setup. I was on my way from Chicago to the Outer Banks of North Carolina, and I parked in a Methodist hospital over here. I slept about 5 hours, and it worked pretty well. I actually got, a decent couple hours of sleep, so I was happy about that, and it was free. So I'd fold my seats forward, and then that piece of wood that's behind the seats would fold down, and I had a little mattress pad thing that I put over the top. And that's just me leaving. This is me the morning after the second night. It took me 2 nights to get out to North Carolina. I'm somewhere in, I don't know, like a mountainous area going out there, going through the Appalachian Mountains or something. You can see the condensation on the windows. I did not have good ventilation in there. It was humid and really foggy over there in the low mountains. But slept soundly and no one bothered me. That's looking toward the front of my car. You can see, again, some of the condensation on the windows. This is me looking down toward my feet. Again, very little movement or space to move my legs. Not good. It's like you were kind of like straight jacket in there on your legs, So there it is again. And you can see all the condensation. I tried to put a bunch of stuff up in the windows so that people wouldn't see that I was in there. And I parked in some neighborhood. No one was around. I came in late and left early. You can see some tape on the windows because I had tried to put up some mesh or something to let a little bit of fresh air get in there so it wouldn't get so hot and gross. And here's the final shot of the neighborhood where I parked. Really pretty there. Here were some of my friends testing it out as we took other trips that summer. We are camping here in a Walmart parking lot when we drove out to Montana to do the Crown of the Continent tour. So yes, 2 people can fit in there. It's a little cozy, but doable and an adventure. Now here we are in, this is Yellowstone, and we had taken some cardboard, put it up in the back windows for some privacy. By the way, cardboard, when you're getting out in the morning, it's really nice to be stepping on something clean and flat like that versus stepping on gravel or whatever and getting your socks all dirty. So it's nice to have the cardboard there. We held on to that, but just a lot of stuff that we're kind of carting around. It was always like packing and unpacking, and this is my now wife who was sleeping in there. She did not like this at all. She was a real trooper. I ended up getting some of this mosquito netting stuff or whatever, and I just draped over the door and then rolled down the window and then closed it so that way we got some nice ventilation in there. It's not as comfortable to sleep in this car as it is just to sleep in a regular tent. You can see the little 2x4 down there in the right with a dowel going through it to hold up the front part of the platform. That worked okay. Not super sturdy though. Sometimes they would fall over. And there is Christina at night trying to get comfortable in this car. I think she felt a little bit claustrophobic. But at least there's no bears getting into the car. And these are just some other pictures from that summer. This is traveling up to Lake Superior on our way out to Montana. Just gorgeous. Another Walmart parking lot. I actually think we got Wi-Fi in this parking lot, which was huge. Again, that's Lake Superior. Had my paramotor on the back there. Just stunning. Driving out west toward Montana. These beautiful, I don't even know what plant this is, but just gorgeous. Beautiful. Absolutely stunning. Wow. And this is just another parking lot where we slept. I think this might be the same Walmart. Bunch of people camped out there. When you find other people, you're like, okay, I feel safe now because there's other folks around. If anything happens, hopefully they come get your back or whatever. Pano shot of a Walmart. We could be staying at that hotel across the street for like $150. Nope, we'll camp for free right here. Thank you. And that's our car over there on the right with the visor up there in the window. It's the silver one there. And this is somewhere in Canada. Just absolutely beautiful. God's country. So awesome. Try to do a little panoramic shot of where we were. Just remote, deserted, stunning. Absolutely stunning. This is in one of the national parks somewhere out in Glacier. We took a service road back up here. Would have just loved to have camped here and hung out. You can see that the sun peeking through the clouds and hitting those pines just up this valley here. Absolutely breathtaking. One of the cool things about doing the whole car camping thing is, while it is a little bit uncomfortable, you have a lot of flexibility and freedom, and you can do it for cheap, which allows you to do it for longer. Just love this. And look at all those trees. Just beautiful. This is somewhere in the Grand Tetons. This is a spot where a bunch of people would go if they didn't want to stay in Jackson to camp for free up in this spot just north of the town. A bunch of people camped out here. Some people just pull up their tents and get them out right next to their cars. Pretty awesome. And some last photos of me camping later that summer at a regular campground with some friends. I just stayed in my car and I made it work. Got a little bit wet there at night because I didn't have my screen thing with me, so I had to roll down the windows to get some fresh air, and then it rained. But slept okay. So one of the tough things about living in your car for 9 or 10 days when I did the tour that went out to, I'll just say from my experience, folks, one of the tough things about living out of your car for like 10 nights, I think that's how long we did the Crown of the Continent tour. It was like something like that. We slept in our car every night for that many nights, was that, apart from being uncomfortable when you sleep because I didn't build it right and didn't have enough leg room to like turn over and stuff, is there's really nowhere to go. Like, you go to an activity and then what do? You come back to the car, and then like back in the car you just sit there, or like are you going to sit in the front seat and read a book, or you can maybe go to a park or try to go to a library, but there's just no place to like go chill in the living room and surf on the Wi-Fi and relax and lounge and like watch TV and blah blah blah. Like, everything is just, you're always coming back to this monotonous kind of depressing place that is your vehicle, and you spend a surprising amount of time with the vehicle, and it's kind of a little bit of a downer. It was an adjustment at the very least. And also, like, when you're doing any task, like if you're going to shower or cook or something, any of those things require a lot more time and effort, because you got to like unpack all your stuff, find your utensils, find your cooking stuff, or find all your toiletries and blah blah blah, and then go do that activity, and then come back and put everything back, or try to figure out how you're going to dry stuff or clean stuff or whatever. So it's not nearly as, although that you have the flexibility of all the travel and then the cheap accommodations and kind of sleeping wherever you want because you're going to sleep undercover, there's also the inconvenience of not having doing that. Like, the normal day-to-day stuff is not as easy to do. So if you could find a system to do that well and to get easy access to your stuff, then it could be kind of cool. I think doing this for like limited amounts of time for a specific purpose could be cool, but it's kind of like an adventure or a saga or a journey, and I kind of like that. So if I'm like going to go up to Alaska, I want to drive up to like the up into the the Arctic Circle, like all the way as far north as I can go, then I think it'd be cool to take a car, to sleep in the car, then to make that journey, right? But after that, like, then I want to be in a hotel or in my own home. So, guys, thanks for watching.